I will introduce this. I will introduce
Thank
this
you.
one. This one's next,
Okay.
right? Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So, obviously, No Way Home just came out. You know, whether you liked it or not, whatever. Most people did. But the director, John Watts, who directed the last three Tom Holland movies, was announced a while ago to be directing the MCU Fantastic Four movie. Not anymore.
Wah,
He just
wah, wah.
he just dropped out of this movie. Now, hold on, let me get the link up here.
See what
There you go.
that-
Spider-Man director John Watts exits Marvel's Fantastic Four. Now, I'm trying to find where it says it exactly.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Watts.
Um, oh yeah, here it is. Okay, the reason that he's leaving has nothing to do with anything behind the scenes. He just doesn't want to make comic book movies anymore.
Oh,
Fair
man,
enough.
there's a lot of people that do MCU movies. You can take that down, Seth. Thank you. Unless there's something else you
okay.
wanted to point out.
No, I got nothing.
Okay. There's something that people who direct MCU movies, they seem to have a consistent vibe, and that is, dude, it's exhausting to stick to the making the MCU films, and that's by design. I mean, even the now ill-fated Joss Whedon, who did the original Avengers movie, like he stepped away, and he's like, it's just too much. He's like,
That's why he didn't do Infinity War.
Yeah, because there's just too, because you try to be creative as an artist and you bring your own vision to the table, but then something like Marvel, who's Kevin Feige's baby, like those aren't Josh Whedon's movies. That's Kevin Feige's movies that Josh Whedon is helping him make, and that goes for any director that has anything to do with the MCU, is they're all following Kevin Feige, and that's not a problem. That's why it's so successful, because they have one clear vision. But it seems to be exhausting for some people, and it seems to take a toll on them. Ramon, you hear John Watts' exit of the MCU's Fantastic Four reboot. Besides the fact that it was a reboot, because I know how much you love reboots.
Oh, I love a reboot, man.
What do you think this says about the MCU, or maybe what's going to happen with the Fantastic Four going forward?
I mean, he would have probably been the right sort of person for it, because obviously doing the Spider-Man movies, they were massive. But Fantastic Four is a difficult one. It really is, because it's another one you kind of like. You think it was one of the best movies ever made, but it's going to be difficult, I think, to find someone to do a decent. And being honest, without being a sarcastic prick like I normally am, just for a second, I think Fantastic Four needs someone like that, or I'll even go as far as saying someone who wouldn't do anything in the MCU, like Christopher Nolan. It needs someone that's going to really do something with it, but that's not a good look if he's jumped out.
Do you think that's not what they had with Josh Trank? I mean, Josh Trank was bringing such a really good, unique story, but like they fired him and reshot more than half his movie. It's one of those missed opportunities for me, because I could see where Josh Trank was trying to take that Fantastic Four, and I was totally digging it. And then somewhere halfway in the middle of the movie, the whole tone just completely changes, and you could tell there's a lot left out, a lot of plot holes.
I think if this is the case now and he's stepped out, unless they've look, I'm being honest, man. I don't like the way the MCU's going. I don't think they're making good content. I've been saying it for ages. I don't think they're making good content, probably since, we all hyped up around the time that it came out, like WandaVision, Loki and that, because we were excited to get something after Endgame. But Endgame was the last thing. Let's be honest. Spider-Man as well. But Endgame was the last one where we were like like that feeling.
Yeah.
The rest of it's shit. Let's be honest. Like, Spider-Man's good. I know. I said like before, it's not really my sort of thing, but it was a good movie. It was still a good movie. The way things are going, I don't have faith in whoever's going to take it over that they're going to be creating something going forward where we're going to be like, wow. Because at the minute, all the other stuff as well is a bit. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm the right person, because I'm going with a bias where I'm not really enjoying the stuff at the moment. So
that's why we have you on the channel. We like your bias. We like your own seasoned opinion. That's we all have different opinions about things, and that's okay. That's why I like our little tribe.
Like I want it. Don't get me wrong. I would want it to work. I know a lot of people hate on the other. What was the one? When was the first one out, man? With bloody Captain America, and the second one with Silver Surfer. Like I love the one with Silver Surfer, and it's not a good movie.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're not like the Rise of the Silver Surfer isn't a good movie, but I love it because I love Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
it's so difficult. They're great characters. Doctor Doom and all that are brilliant characters, but whoever does it has got to be someone that's, again, Christopher Nolan or someone like that. He wouldn't do a movie like this, but you need someone of that caliber to come in and do like the whole Batman thing with it, where people go, "Whoa!" Like,
I think I know
hard.
like what you're saying, and it's kind of hard. Let's just say you're an amazing artist, right? Let's just paint that real quick. You have an amazing artist who wants creative freedom to make his image or her image. And then you have to base it, though. And you have to be pretty damn exact, or else the fans are going to lose their shit.
Yeah.
Just speaking as someone who I love to sketch, I absolutely love movies. I love the artistic, just everything about them. I love movies. That's why I'm on here with you guys. I love talking about movies with you guys. And I gotta say, like, I get what they mean, man. Like, if you're being forced to basically, spew out something that you really want to do a lot more with, it just gets exhausting. And I get what they mean. More power to them.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to unpack with this. After listening to everyone speak, and one thing for me is, like Ramon mentioned, there is a major MCU fatigue, and maybe Kevin Feige needs a rest, needs to take a nap, because he has a lot on his plate, But
yeah.
And everything seemed very discombobulated right now because we have everything on Disney Plus, and in our heads we're trained MCU equals cinematics. We're watching these TV shows as a cinematic event, but they're not. So you get Hawkeye, who you've seen in the movies, but now he's dressed in that purple felt fucking outfit. What the fuck? It's very weird, and it comes across as an oddity. And like, we're getting all of this at once. Disney Plus wasn't, I almost guarantee they had a plan to actually like roll this out a little bit smoother. But with COVID hit, everything was kind of put on pause. We kind of just got like pulp everything. It's like, dude, here it all is. Here it all is, and I could definitely see Ramon's point of it being exhausting.
Can I throw a spanner in the works with it all?
A what?
The TV shows. I was saying before, when we was like watching WandaVision, Loki, and all that, we were saying like they haven't got a formula down yet. Like they're kind of just going, but they don't have a formula. There's evidence in that. In the simple fact, DC only done one, and that was Peacemaker, and that show's fucking amazing. Like, I love Peacemaker, so that's a good one. To me, you can watch Peacemaker. They could do another Suicide Squad or whatever next year of all these different characters. Peacemaker don't even need to be in it, man. And it can jump onto that, and then someone else can do another. We've said it before, and they can do another TV series about someone else, and it'll be. If it's got the same team behind it, it'll be good because it's good. Like the Marvel stuff, I'm watching it, but I'm not.
Right. Yeah. What's up, Seth?
I was just gonna say, like, I know I've talked like ad nauseum my problems with the Disney Plus shows, so I'm not gonna say that specifically. But the Disney Plus shows, in my opinion, are the reason for the fatigue. Like, because the way I feel personally is that, like, with these movies coming out, I still get excited to see the movies. We have Doctor Strange coming out in 6 days. We have Thor coming out in 2 months. I can't wait to see those movies. I'm super excited about those. Those, the I don't know, it's gonna sound really nerdy, but like the feeling of traveling to the theater, sitting it, watching it with an audience, it's just a good feeling, and you feel the excitement for things. With me,
all right. How much did Nicole Kidman pay you to read her rant at the beginning of the AMC stuff? Heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
That is only at your theater. I don't get that at mine.
Because you go to Regal, yeah.
Because I go to Regal. I don't get that whole thing at the beginning of my movies. But
so I had to call you out. Theater has homeless people in front of it. I go to my theater to escape.
I throw my popcorn that I'm done with at them.
But
I'm
like
helping.
with the MCU movies, I feel the excitement, but like I'm not feeling myself getting excited for these Disney Plus shows, especially because of how mediocre they've been.
I think it's fatigue. You know, it's too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
They're throwing way too much content, and there is such a thing as too much. And I especially like once you've already hit your crescendo, you've hit Endgame. It's really hard for us to give a shit now with these other characters when we already have had the culmination of almost 20 years worth of building up. You know,
right? Yeah. Well, not just that, but like when they have shows like Loki, and Loki. I don't know if you've seen Loki, but I think it was the first or the second episode of Loki. They're like, oh, Infinity Stones. I got a whole drawer full of these. They completely just like neutered everything that came before it. They're like, oh, so reality isn't real. Infinity Stones mean nothing, and everything we just did was bullshit.
Because you know what's crazy
God
as
damn,
well,
if Loki wasn't good.
when you're saying about the fatigue thing, right? If you look at it in perspective, like Seth just said as well, the TV show, say they didn't happen. I mean, we were all excited when they announced them because you're like, WandaVision, oh wow, we're going to get to see them. Like, I was excited. Falcon, wow, brilliant. But if we didn't get those, and we just had Spider-Man, and that's it, and then Doctor Strange, I'd be like, yo, I would probably still be excited because it's still in that same realm of trying to sort of keep that vibe going. If they start, I feel they needed to really go back to basics where it was like the end of Endgame and then straight back down to the bottom and go, right guys, this is going to take us another 5-10 years to build things up, have a break, and then something like the Eternals should be coming out in about 5 or 6 years time when everything starts to build up, and then they go, here's the Eternals, and we would have been like, well, who are these guys? But at the minute it was just like, here's the Eternals, it's out, here's Shang-Chi, it's out. What?
Yeah, like back to back.
No one cared. No, let's be honest, like we watched them, but no, like when you go Endgame, Shang-Chi and the Eternals, no one gave a shit. Let's be honest. Like in the grand scale of what Endgame was massive. Like
I have to say too, like when your show relies on cameos from better characters, maybe it's not a good show.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that because some of these are good, but like, okay, Shang-Chi, right? Every fucking YouTube channel was like, oh, he's fighting the Abomination. And it's like, okay, dude, well, where the fuck has he been for the last like 20 years?
Right.
Why the fuck is he just ground fighting now in the UFC? Like, what the
Why
fuck?
has he got fins on his head? What happened?
Why has he got fucking fins? Can he breathe through water now? Does he still like turn back into fucking a good actor?
What if like we see him go into the water and he like literally like swims super slow,
like gracefully?
You know, the thing is, you're right when you say that these shows are relying on cameos. These shows specifically, some of the movies are kind of are too, but specifically the shows are really guilty of this. Specifically, Hawkeye with the fist thing.
Yeah.
But my love for Hawkeye, and the fact that show was not good, it still hurts, man.
It's an insult
to
the characters. It really is. And it's an insult to
everyone
actors.
in the show. It's an insult to Hawkeye, the other Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Fisk, Swordsman. Yeah. It's an insult to all of those characters that were in that show. And I hate
Hawkeye should have been great. Like I'm not even joking. Like
Hawkeye had potential.
Yeah. No, but I'm not even joking. I loved Hawkeye in the Avengers movies, and I didn't. When a show was coming out, and there was a lot of abuse. It's like, oh, it's Hawkeye TV show and all of that. I remember not being majorly excited because of how I felt about the MCU in general, but I should have been because it's Hawkeye, and I really like the character. But I knew that's why I wasn't excited. I knew what we were going to get. We should have been getting to see like Ronin. We should have been getting to see what happened to him and like a dark story and be like,
I think it's just, Marvel they have their formula and they are afraid to take chances.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're like, would people be okay with seeing, Hawkeye shooting people in the face with his arrow because he's pissed that he lost his family?
All
And
right,
it's like, yeah, I want to see that.
Yes.
all right, two things here. Number one, Marvel is trying to take steps and do different things. Eternals is kind of proof of that a little bit. You know, they didn't follow the formula. But going back to the formula, this also what Monty was saying. You know, like, you know, you're sticking to one formula, but that formula was created by Kevin Feige, but it was also created by who ran Disney for the longest time? Bob Ogen.
Bob Iger.
Iger. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bob Iger had this almost like Walt Disney vision. Yeah. He was the Walt Disney of today. You know, just the way his integrity is. You know, he said, "Oh, listen, you can come to Disney Plus and we're going to have content you won't ever have to be concerned about your family watching." And so every movie that they did, they had that in their mind. But now that he's gone and you have this other Bob in there, Bob and Bob.
Bob and Bob.
What about Bob?
Office Space, right? Isn't it the two Bobs?
I haven't seen that, you know.
Oh, that's a good one.
Is it good?
It's really good. It's a lot of fun. But now that they have this new guy in there, he's like, well, actually, let's bring on some different content. Yeah, we're going to have rated R properties on here. But now we have the new family feature, you know, whatever on the streaming. So you have these two different conflicts of Marvel trying to come out with newer content, but sticking to their old principles, while the new guy in control is kind of changing the integrity of the old principles. And now we're in this weird space. We don't quite know where it's headed or where it's going. And I think maybe, just maybe, Kevin Feige is like holding like the Disney flag, like pursuing, you know, just his vision of Marvel, while the rest of this is like going up in flames around him. That's you know, what I'm imagining.
Can I say two more things?
No.
Oh, okay.
See you later. No, of course. Go ahead.
No, two more things. One of them, and I hate to go back to it, the problem with Hawkeye was not the fact that it wasn't gory, because I know we're talking about like the R-rated thing and like him shooting people in the face. That wasn't the issue. The issue was that they promoted this story to be like an adaptation of the Matt Fraction run, which is the comic that I brought up earlier, the most famous Hawkeye run, which it wasn't at all. But they promoted it to be that. The logo is exactly the same. The font in the credits, the art style in the credits is ripped straight out of this comic book. Yet they are nothing alike. Like, because in the comic book, there's even this whole subplot where Kate goes to like California and becomes a private investigator. Where was that? This should have been like a 10-episode show. That's just my thing about Hawkeye. I'm done with Hawkeye.
Yeah, but even when you look at it like that, it didn't have to be R-rated, but when you picture that in your head, and if you pitched it to me now and you went, right, I've got the rights to do Hawkeye, and it's going to have Wilson Fisk in it, instantly in my brain, I'm going, man, they're going to have some big battle, him against Fisk, and he's going to beat the crap out of Hawkeye, and that there alone, that excites me. Like, that excites me.
Yeah. What was your second thing, Seth?
I was just going to ask a question, which is going back to the actual topic here. Is
Fantastic Four reboot. That's right.
I was going to ask this to you guys: who would you want to direct this now? Like,
well, I think everything that we just said collectively kind of comes to the same agreement that it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Yeah, like maybe it shouldn't have a director. Maybe it shouldn't be made. Like,
I want it.
I would love to see it. Yeah, but you know,
and of course it's going to get made. It's in the plans.
Yeah.
I know who I would want.
Who?
And I don't know if someone's going to shoot me down for it.
Pauly Shore.
I'm looking up seeing what work they're doing. No. I'm going to see what work they're doing at the moment. What are the Russo brothers doing at the moment?
Okay, get out of here.
What's wrong with the Russo brothers?
It was a joke.
I think they're
I don't want them to do this.
Well, no, they already finished filming Extraction 2, didn't they?
Everything Everywhere All at Once was their last produced movie that hit theaters. the Russo brothers.
No, I'm
produced
only
that.
saying that just because I'm looking back at, again, I'm only just going back over the stuff that I loved. I loved Winter Soldier, I loved Civil War, and the main things in the MCU that I loved. So, you know, because ideally, I would love someone like Nolan, but you're never going to get someone like that to do something like this because it's got to be that MCU formula. It's got to have
Right.
certain boxes ticked. And
I
Who do you say?
personally,
Sorry, Seth. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I personally really don't want the Russo brothers to do this.
Why?
Their style is weird to me. Like, I don't really like Civil War that much, the Captain America one. I know a lot of people love that movie.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm not a huge.
It's just
fan
that
of
one's
it.
that one's okay. I liked it a lot more when it came out, but
Yeah.
Same with Endgame. I like Endgame, but that's it. I just like it. I don't love it.
Right.
Infinity War, though, I'll give you this. I still like Infinity War.
Oh,
a
I
lot.
love that movie.
I
watch
think
that movie.
Infinity War is great,
I
but
think,
that and
It's balanced
Winter
as all
Soldier
things
is
should be.
best.
I think, you know who I'd want to direct this, and it would line up with a popular fan thing. So, people want John Krasinski to be Reed Richards, right? You know, that's a popular fan cast.
Yeah.
John Krasinski has recently started directing a lot of movies. Well, not a lot of movies, but he's been directing movies. He directed both Quiet Place movies, which were both insanely popular and successful.
He's making a new one too. It's supposed to be about the first day.
Yeah.
Yes, he's only
the prequel.
producing that one.
Oh,
that
shit,
one
I
that
thought
one
he
is
was
being
making it.
done by somebody else, but he is also doing a third one. On top of that one. He's also got a new movie coming out, which I think they got Ryan Reynolds in as well, and obviously he's really popular. What if they got John Krasinski to direct and star in a Fantastic Four reboot?
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
I would definitely see that.
What about
Yeah.
who's the guy who's been? You said Ryan Reynolds' name. Who's the guy who's been directing? Who's going to be
I
directing?
know who you're thinking of.
Deadpool 3. Is it Adam McKay?
Sean Levy.
Sean.
So you're talking. That's what you're talking about.
Sean Levy. Who the hell is Adam McKay? Where did I get that name from?
Adam
Adam
McKay did
McKay.
Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
Wires
he's more of a
got it now.
Yeah.
kind of director.
Sean Levy.
Great comedian, but
I mean, I'm sure Sean Levy would do fine, but I don't think this is something he'd really be interested in, especially with him doing Deadpool 3. But I think John Krasinski
Technically
would,
an MCU movie now. So.
Krasinski
Well,
would be a
no,
good
it
shout
is.
though, yeah, because he's very likable, man. Krasinski's such a likable dude anyway.
he is, yeah, he's a
So,
really likable
yeah.
guy.
yeah.
And
like,
I'm hoping he does get the role of Reed Richards. You know, I know
That's
people
fine.
are rooting for him and his wife Emily Blunt to get the role of Sue Storm as well. Sure, I guess. I mean, if they go that route, then I'm perfectly fine with it. But if they go with just John Krasinski, maybe they want someone else as Sue Storm.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that too. But I am hoping that John Krasinski does get the role. I don't think he's the only person for the job. There's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, John Krasinski or nobody. Come on now. But like, he is my number one pick. I also think Brandon Ruth wouldn't be that bad of an pick.
Listen, when it comes to MCU again, like I'm going to go back to we can cherry pick, oh well, this director because of this and this director. Ooh, Sam Raimi's doing Multiverse of Madness. Oh my God, and Sam Raimi's awesome. But like, and we have to go back and remember these are all Kevin Feige's movies. That the directors are really like they're using people who have a professionalism to get what they want out, shot well, professionally, and quickly. That's essentially what they want. These aren't story driven movies from the director's standpoint per se.
These are Kevin Feige's stories.
Right.
Kevin Feige is not telling them how to direct these movies. He's letting these directors throw in their own directing style and even their own ideas. It's not like, this is what you 100% have to do. Like when the director has an idea, he listens. Kevin Feige listens, and obviously it's up to him at the end of the day, but maybe he'll go, you know what, that's a good idea. Let's throw that in there. Or maybe sometimes be like, you know what, it's a good idea, but not really what we're looking for. Because look at Guardians of the Galaxy. That has James Gunn written all over it. And CinemaCon was shown the first 20 minutes of Doctor Strange. They're saying this is Sam Raimi at his most Sam Raimi. Like, this is a Sam Raimi movie. And You know, like even if they are Kevin Feige stories, the directors still get to do their own things with them. They put their own spin on it, put their own flair. So I think the director is important, even if the story will relatively be the same at the end of the day.
Well, you understand the director's job. The director's job is to tell the story,
right?
But it's not their story. Yeah, I get what you mean. They do have creative,
but they
control,
can tell the story how they want to tell it.
All right, you know what? That's fair. But I just would, even though my example here isn't quite MCU, but it's, you know, the head of the same dragon. Look at Guy Ritchie. Think of Guy Ritchie movies.
Guy Ritchie, yeah.
Then think of Aladdin. That was not a Guy
I don't want to
Ritchie
think
movie.
about
You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. It like, yeah, they're using talented directors, you know, to complete this, you know, prefabricated vision. But like, at what point in time does creative control from, you know, Feige compared to the director, where is that balance? Is it 60-40? Is it less or more, you know, for Kevin Feige? Because when that happens, then you start getting directors coming out with movies that don't seem like they're movies. Are they shot well? Sure. Do they look good? Absolutely. Do they tell the story great? Yeah, you're darn right they do. Is it a Guy Ritchie movie? No.
Yeah.
It's not the same stylistic. And I think, and we really need to move on after this because we only got one more thing. We spent a lot of time on this, but like, it was, I guess basically, to put a cap on it, is, does it really matter who's going to direct it when they're being controlled by Kevin Feige? And I'm saying it sounds like a negative thing, but it seemed to have worked for the MCU. But now you have directors like John Watts who exits the MCU, most likely, I would assume, because of this exhaustion that it comes with following such great details. I mean, you're not just directing this one movie. Sam Raimi's not directing Multiverse of Madness and like that's it. No, his job is also to implement bits and pieces that go into other. That's this little bit right here that we spent 5 days shooting. That's going to make sense in 5 more movies when you see, you know, Wanda in her home economics class teaching school or whatever the fucking movie's going to be.